Okay, so today we are taking a good look at this Dendrobium nobile right here. This is actually the springbird variety, which blooms a very nice yellow blossom. And as you guys can see, this plant right here has already lost all of its blooms. Oh, so sad. But you guys know, just because it's lost all its blooms definitely does not mean that the adventure is over. As a matter of fact, the adventure has just begun. Okay folks, so as you can see, this Dendrobium nobile is pretty healthy. You can see a lot of the basal keikis that have started to grow from the bottom, and of course these other canes that have already flourished as well. Now if we turn this plant around, we will also see that we are very, very fortunate right here, folks, because here you see baby keikis that have grown on the actual cane of this Dendrobium nobile. And as you guys can see, these keikis are very, very healthy. Definitely they have nice foliage growth right here. Each and every individual keiki has nice sized leaves just flourishing. Also, if we take a closer look at the roots, they are also very, very healthy. Each of them growing on each keiki. Look at all of these roots. So I would definitely say that these keikis are definitely ready to be repotted, because indeed they want to grow, grow, and grow. Okay, so what we will be using for this propagation, folks, is sphagnum moss, because we definitely want to ensure that these keikis will constantly stay moist. Also, we have this pot right here and also some rocks in there, so that it will provide a good filter system or a drainage system for the water to get through here. And we have this sanitized knife. Okay folks, so here we are, and we're going to go ahead and start off right here. And I'm just going to take this knife and put it between this root, and I'm going to see if we can go ahead and just kind of maneuver it so it can go ahead and, I don't think this is working out so well. The knife is not as sharp as I thought. But here we go, folks. We safely did it. I'm not quite sure if I like to use the knife. Let's try to use it, well, let's try to do it using our fingers instead this time, folks. Let's see exactly how easy to remove it. With our fingers it is. There it is, folks. Yeah, you know what? It's actually easier for this Dendrobium nobile to be removed with your fingers. So just have a good grasp on it. You might have to move it back and forth a little bit, and don't worry about if it cuts some of the cane off, or if it removes some of that cane. You see it ripping? That's okay. It'll be just fine. This cane is okay. We just definitely want to make sure that the individual keikis are removed with all of the roots. So here you see it, folks. All of them removed, and now they are ready to be repotted. Okay folks, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and start putting some of this medium in here. Let's go ahead and fill it up a little bit and pack it down. I just want some of this in here so it definitely has a good space for it to sit on. This is one of them. Here's two of them. And here's the third one. So I'm kind of just trying to hold it up with my fingers here, and I'm going to try to kind of put this around it. Put it around. I know I'm being a bit sloppy. I'm a sloppy girl, what can I say? Okay, so there you go. And now I'm just going to try to just kind of move it in between them a little bit so they have good medium in between them as well. Pack it down some, and I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of this in here. Packing it down. I don't want to leave any air bubbles on there, folks, because if you leave air bubbles in the medium, it has a tendency to not water that area, and if there's any roots in that air bubble, it won't get watered. So definitely that's something you want to think about, and that's definitely why we're packing it down. And I think they are about good to go. Maybe pack a little bit more in here. And And folks, if they are too low, all you have to do is kind of pull them up a little bit. Of course, being extra careful with those baby roots. Okay, folks, and we are about done here. All I'm doing now is kind of just firming up the medium, making sure that these baby keikis are indeed stable in this little pot. No wiggle wobbling going on here. So they look good, and indeed, they look like happy campers that are ready to grow, grow, grow. But now, guys, just because they are in their individual pots, please still remember they are still babies, and because they are still babies, we're going to have to treat them as such. We don't want to give these guys too much bright light, definitely no Cattleya light at all. We want to keep this in bright shade or perhaps dappled light, but they can't afford to get overheated, so definitely keep that in mind. Also, we want to make sure that this medium stays constantly moist. We want to make sure that they are getting enough water in their little roots and into their little leaves. So definitely constantly moist. Do not let this dry out. Now, of course, we don't want to overly drench this either, because these little guys can't afford to get any type of rot. To get any type of rot, that would mean they would be kapooey, kapowie. They would definitely be goners. And we don't want them to be goners, right? So definitely do not over water them, but keep them moist at all times. Now, folks, because they are still babies, we definitely do not want to fertilize these guys either. Their little baby roots cannot handle the fertilizer, and the fertilizer can actually burn their roots. So until they get to be good-sized, matured canes, only then would we start fertilizing this. So indeed, allow them time to grow. Now, if we keep all of these things in mind, take care of them, monitor them, give them what's required, and of course give them lots of loving, we can indeed expect these to be rapid growers, and perhaps even in the next bloom season they might give us some blooms. So fingers crossed, the journey has just begun. Okay, folks, since we're talking about propagating the Dendrobium nobile, I definitely wanted to show you another form, and this actually caught me by surprise. I would say about a month ago, I decided to do an experiment, and I wanted to take some canes off of the Dendrobiums, and I took some canes off of the Dendrobium phalaenopsis, and I also took some canes off of the Dendrobium nobile. And of course you guys have heard of this method, where what you do is you take wet sphagnum moss, and you also take the canes of the Dendrobium, and you insert it into the moss. And of course the moisture and also the humidity and the warmth that it will receive inside this bag will actually promote growth in the actual cane. Well, let me tell you a little bit of a story about this one. I was a little bit impatient, and I checked and checked and did not find any growth. So I got a little bit flustered, and I was in my garden when I checked it one time, and I actually left this in my garden in this condition, I want to say for almost a month. And today I just found it under a bush, and let me just show you exactly what I found, because I'm absolutely amazed. Okay, so here's the heap of muck. I mean, again, it's been in here for about a month in the heat and in the rain, and of course it was sealed tight in this Ziploc bag, but still, in a month's time, what could possibly happen, right? Well, let me show you. As we dig into here, here's one. Do you see that? There is actually a growth that has come out of this cane. Wow, amazing. This has been in there for like a month. What in the world? Now, of course, there were some that was unsuccessful. I don't see any type of growth or any difference in these ones at all. So, unsuccessful. But then we take a look over here, and you're seeing, of course I showed you this one. This has already come out its foliage, and also if you take a look here, its roots as well. And if we take a look, here appears to be a growth that's coming up. So that'll be a baby Keiki. And let's see what else. And also right here, this is a growth coming out as well. Now, of course, you're seeing a discoloration here, so I'm not quite sure if this is gonna, survive, but definitely it was a growth that came out of the cane. And actually, taking a closer look, these are all actually Dendrobium nobiles right here. So it appears that Dendrobium nobiles are a lot easier to propagate from canes. Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. Okay, well that's it for my insert.